Mackenzie's breakup is more important than your broken wrist right now. My girlfriend said when I called her from the hospital parking lot asking for a ride to urgent care, I hung up immediately, blocked her number, and called the one person who had actually shown up for me that week. What happened when she realized I had stopped being her reliable backup plan made her see exactly what she had been taking for granted. I am Ethan, 30, and I work as an accountant here in Denver. I have been with my girlfriend Qley, 28, for 2 years, and I am starting to realize that I might be the most understanding boyfriend in history, or the biggest pushover. Qley works as an event coordinator, so she is naturally social and always busy. When we first started dating, I thought it was attractive how many people wanted to spend time with her. She had this energy that drew people in, and I felt lucky to be chosen by someone so popular and vibrant. But somewhere along the way, I noticed a pattern, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. I always come last. Not sometimes, not occasionally, always. Her best friend Mackenzie calls with boy drama. Qley drops everything, including dates with me, to rush over with wine and tissues. Her mother wants to go shopping. Our weekend plans get canceled immediately. Work needs someone to stay late for an event. Qley volunteers even when we had dinner reservations. At first, I was understanding. Of course, help your friend. Family comes first. I get it. Work is important, we can reschedule. But the rescheduling became constant, and I started to realize that I was the only person in Qley's life who was expected to be endlessly flexible and understanding. When Mackenzie needs emotional support, it is an emergency that cannot wait. When I want to talk about something bothering me, I get, "Can we discuss this later?" I am exhausted. When her mom wants to have lunch, Qley clears her entire Saturday. When I suggest we spend a day together, I get, "Let me check my schedule and see what I can fit in." When her coworkers invite her out for drinks, she is immediately free. When I invite her to my company party, she checks her phone the entire time and leaves early because Mackenzie is having a crisis. My brother Nathan visited last month and witnessed this firsthand. We were having dinner at my place when Mackenzie called crying about some guy who hadn't texted her back. Qley immediately started putting on her shoes. "Babe, I have to go. Mackenzie is having a meltdown and she needs me." "We are in the middle of dinner with my brother," I said. "Nathan will understand." "Right, Nathan. Girl emergencies don't wait." Nathan just stared as Qley kissed my cheek and rushed out, leaving us with a half-finished meal and an awkward silence. "Dude," Nathan said after she left. "When is the last time she prioritized you over literally anyone else?" I started to defend her, but I couldn't think of a single example. "She knows I am understanding," I said. "I am not needy like her friends." "Understanding and being invisible aren't the same thing," Nathan replied. That conversation haunted me for weeks, so I started paying attention. To our dynamic, the results were devastating. In the past 3 months, Qley has canceled 14 plans with me. 14. For friends, family, work, her book club, yoga class, even a last-minute shopping trip because the sales were too good to miss. Her response time to texts tells the whole story. Mackenzie gets immediate replies. Her mom gets calls back within the hour. Her coworkers get quick responses about work stuff. Me? I get responses when she is bored, usually hours later. Sometimes the next day. Last week was our 2-year anniversary. We had planned dinner at this restaurant I had been wanting to try for months. Made reservations 3 weeks in advance. I even took a half day off work. 2 hours before dinner, my phone rang. "Babe, I am so sorry, but Mackenzie just got dumped and she is completely falling apart. I need to go be with her. It is our anniversary, Qley, I know, and I feel terrible, but she really needs me right now. You understand, right? We can celebrate tomorrow." That is when it hit me. Mackenzie's breakup was more important than our relationship milestone. A friend's temporary sadness took priority over our 2-year anniversary. I sat in that restaurant alone, eating dinner by myself on our anniversary, while my girlfriend comforted someone else. The waitress kept asking if I was waiting for someone. I didn't know how to explain that I was, but she wasn't coming. Update 1: work has been crazy this week, but I needed to get this out because the comments on my last post really opened my eyes to how screwed up this situation has become. After the anniversary disaster, I decided to actually document everything instead of just feeling like I was going crazy. I started keeping notes on my phone every time Qley canceled plans or chose someone else over me. The data is depressing. Over the past month alone, the pattern had become undeniably clear and increasingly hurtful. She canceled our weekend trip that we had been planning for weeks because her mom suddenly decided she wanted to go furniture shopping and needed Qley's opinion on dining room sets. During what should have been a relaxing movie date, she abruptly left halfway through the film because Mackenzie had gotten into some petty argument with her roommate and needed immediate emotional support. When my company's holiday party came around, an event I had been looking forward to because I wanted to introduce her to my colleagues, she skipped it entirely, claiming her book club was having an emergency meeting to discuss their next selection, as if choosing a novel required the same urgency as a medical crisis. Perhaps most frustrating of all, she postponed our planned dinner 3 separate times, each time insisting she had to work late and couldn't get away from the office, only for me to see her Instagram stories later those same nights showing her out drinking and laughing with coworkers. The final blow came when she completely forgot about our planned Sunday together, having committed to helping a coworker move without even checking with me first, leaving me sitting alone in my apartment wondering when I would become so forgettable in my own relationship. But here is what really got to me. I started paying attention to how she talks about our plans versus other people's needs. With me, let me see what I can fit in. Per milliampere Yibi, we can do something. If nothing else comes up, Faye, I will try to be free with everyone else. Of course, Faye, I will be right there. Faye, whatever you need. I am literally her backup plan for when nothing better is happening. This became crystal clear at her company's holiday party last weekend. She had been excited about this event for weeks, talking about wanting to introduce me to her coworkers and show off the venue she had coordinated. When we got there, I watched her in action with other people. The energy, the attention, the genuine enthusiasm she showed everyone else. It was like seeing a completely different person. She introduced her coworkers to me like this. This is Ethan, my boyfriend, flat, basic, forgettable. But when she introduced Mackenzie to someone, this is Mackenzie, my absolute best friend. She is the one I was telling you about who just got promoted. She is amazing. I stood there watching her give more animated attention to people she would met 5 minutes ago than she had given me in weeks. The breaking point came when we were talking to her boss about the event planning. I mentioned that I had helped Qley practice her presentation for this project, and her boss seemed genuinely interested in hearing more. Qley immediately changed the subject. Oh, Ethan's just being sweet. He doesn't really understand the creative process. She dismissed my contribution in front of her boss like it was embarrassing that I had been involved. Later, when Mackenzie showed up fashionably late, Qley literally abandoned mid-conversation with me to rush over and greet her like she was a celebrity. I spent the rest of the party watching my girlfriend give everyone else the version of herself that I fell in love with, while I got treated like an accessory she was obligated to acknowledge. We left early because Mackenzie was having anxiety about seeing her ex at the party, even though the ex never showed up, and Mackenzie spent the whole ride home scrolling through his Instagram. On the drive back, I tried to bring up how I felt about being dismissed at the party. You are being way too sensitive, Qley said. I didn't dismiss you. I was just being professional. You have never once described my input as valuable in front of other people. Because you know I appreciate you. I don't have to perform for you like I do with work people. That sentence hit me like a truck. I don't get her best self because I don't matter enough to perform for. So I get your worst because I will tolerate it. That is not what I meant. You know, I love you. I just don't have to put on an act with you. But that is exactly what she meant. Everyone else gets her charm, her enthusiasm, her best effort. I get whatever's left over after she has given her energy to people who actually matter to her. When we got home, I did something I had never done before. I called her out directly. Qley, when is the last time you chose me over someone else? She got defensive immediately. That is not fair. You know how important my relationships are. What about our relationship? We live together, Ethan. We see each other all the time. We live in the same apartment. That is not the same thing as choosing to spend quality time together. You are being really needy right now. I thought you were different from other guys who get jealous of their girlfriends' friendships. There it was. The accusation that wanting basic priority in a relationship made me needy and jealous. I realized in that moment that Qley had trained me to accept scraps by convincing me that asking for more made me a bad boyfriend. Edit. A lot of people are asking why I haven't just broken up with her, honestly. Because until I started documenting it, I thought maybe I was being unreasonable. 2 years of being told you are needy for wanting attention makes you question your own needs. Edit 2. Someone asked what my breaking point would be. I thought I had already hit it. I was wrong. Update coming because what happened this week changed everything. Update 2 had to take a few days off Reddit because what happened this week completely shattered any remaining illusions I had about this relationship. Tuesday night, I was coming home from work when I slipped on some ice in our apartment complex parking lot. I hit the ground hard and immediately knew something was wrong with my wrist. The pain was intense, and I couldn't move it without wanting to scream. I called Qley from the parking lot. Hey babe, I am in the parking lot and I think I broke my wrist. I slipped on ice and I cannot drive. Can you come help me get to urgent care? Oh my God, that sucks. But I am literally at Mackenzie's right now helping her process her therapy session. She is having a breakthrough about her relationship patterns and we are in the middle of a really deep conversation. I sat there in the parking lot, in actual physical pain, listening to my girlfriend tell me that her friend's therapy debrief was more important than my potential broken bone. Qley, I think I need medical attention. Can you call an Uber or maybe ask one of the neighbors? I really cannot leave Mackenzie right now. She is finally opening up about her childhood trauma. I am asking you, my girlfriend of 2 years, to help me get medical care. You are being really dramatic, Ethan. It is probably just a sprain. Take some ibuprofen and ice it. She hung up on me while I was sitting in a parking lot, injured and asking for help. I called my brother Nathan, who lives across town. He immediately left work and drove over to take me to urgent care. X-rays showed a fractured wrist that needed to be immobilized for 6 weeks. While I was getting my cast put on, I got a text from Qley. How did it go? Hope you are feeling better. Mackenzie and I ended up talking until 2 a.m. Such a breakthrough. No apology. No acknowledgement that she had left me stranded during a medical emergency, just an update about how amazing her night with Mackenzie had been. I didn't respond. The next day, Wednesday, I was at work trying to figure out how to do my job with a broken wrist when I decided to grab coffee during lunch. That is when I met Rachel. I was struggling to carry my coffee and laptop bag with one good hand when this woman at the coffee shop asked if I needed help. Looks like you are having a rough day, she said, gesturing to my cast. Rough week, actually, I said. We ended up talking for the entire lunch break. Her name's Rachel. She is a nurse practitioner at the clinic down the street. When I mentioned how I had ended up in urgent care, she was shocked that my girlfriend hadn't taken me. Wait, you called your girlfriend about a potential fracture and she said no. That is not normal relationship behavior. She had other priorities, I said. More important than your injury. What could possibly be more important? I found myself explaining the whole Mackenzie situation, and Rachel just stared at me. You are telling me she chose to discuss someone else's therapy session over taking you for medical care. When she said it like that, it sounded insane, because it was insane. We exchanged numbers and agreed to meet for coffee again. For the first time in months, I was excited about spending time with someone who seemed genuinely interested in talking to me. Thursday night, Qley finally addressed the incident. I feel bad about Tuesday night. How is your wrist? It is broken. Oh wow, really? I thought you were just being dramatic. Just being dramatic about a broken bone. Qley, I called you during a medical emergency, and you chose Mackenzie over me. That is not fair. Mackenzie was having a crisis too. Mental health is just as important as physical health. Mackenzie was discussing her therapy session. I was injured and needed immediate help. You could have called anyone. Mackenzie specifically needed me. That sentence crystallized everything. In Qley's mind, I was interchangeable. Anyone could help me, but only she could help Mackenzie. Why do you think that is? I asked. Because Mackenzie and I have a special bond. She trusts me with her deepest feelings. And what do we have? She looked confused by the question. We have a relationship. It is different. How is it different? I don't have to prove anything to you. You already love me. There it was. The core truth. Qley put effort into relationships where she had to earn approval and took for granted the one where approval was guaranteed. I was her emotional safety net, not her priority. Edit. For everyone asking about Rachel, we have had coffee twice more since then. She actually listens when I talk and asks follow-up questions about things I mentioned days earlier. It is shocking how good it feels to have someone's full attention. Edit 2. Qley still hasn't apologized for leaving me stranded with a broken wrist, but she did ask me to move some furniture this weekend since I am not doing anything important anyway. The audacity is unreal. Final update: had to get a new phone after Qley threw mine against the wall during our breakup fight. But the digital detox was probably good for me. Thanks to everyone who has been following this story and validating that I wasn't crazy for wanting basic consideration. The final straw came exactly 1 week after the broken wrist incident. Qley had planned a girls' night with Mackenzie for Friday, which was fine. I was getting used to weekend nights alone, but Friday afternoon, Mackenzie canceled because she got asked on a last-minute date. Suddenly, Qley was free and wanted to hang out. "Hey babe, Mackenzie bailed for some guy, so looks like it is just you and me tonight. Want to order pizza and watch Netflix?" The casual way she said it, like I was her backup plan when her first choice fell through, made something snap inside me. "I am actually busy tonight," I said. "Busy? You never have plans on Friday nights." "I am meeting Rachel for dinner." That got her attention fast. "Who is Rachel?" "A friend I met at the coffee shop. We have been talking since I broke my wrist." "Since you broke your wrist? You have been hanging out with some random woman for 2 weeks and didn't tell me." The irony was incredible. She was mad that I had made a friend while she had been prioritizing everyone else for 2 years. "Rachel isn't random. She is someone who actually makes time for me." Qley's face went dark. "What is that supposed to mean?" "It means when I told her about breaking my wrist, she offered to help. She didn't tell me to call an Uber so she could continue discussing someone else's therapy breakthrough." "That is totally different. Mackenzie was having an emotional crisis, and I was having a medical emergency. Guess which one you thought was more important?" "We had the fight that was 2 years overdue. I laid out every canceled plan. Every time she had chosen someone else, every moment I had felt like an afterthought in my own relationship." Her response was exactly what I expected. I was being needy, jealous, and unreasonable. She couldn't believe I was keeping score and punishing her for having other relationships. "I thought you were different from other guys," she said. "I thought you understood that I needed space to maintain my friendships and family relationships." "Space, Qley. I don't need space from you. I need some of your actual time and attention." "Just some. Not all of it. Not even most of it. Just enough to feel like I matter to you. You do matter to me. Why do you think I am comfortable around you? You are the one person I don't have to perform for. And that is exactly the problem. Everyone else gets your best effort, and I get whatever's left over because you know I will accept it." That is when she completely lost it. "Fine. If I am such a terrible girlfriend, go be with Rachel. See if she is as understanding as I am when you are boring and predictable." "Boring and predictable," I repeated. "Is that really how you see me?" "I didn't mean that." "Yeah, you did. And that is okay, because Rachel doesn't find me boring. She finds me interesting enough to remember things I tell her and ask follow-up questions. She finds me worth prioritizing over other plans. You barely know her. I know she has never once made me feel like I am competing for scraps of her attention." I moved out that weekend. Nathan helped me pack while Qley alternated between crying and screaming about how I was abandoning her and throwing away 2 years over nothing. The irony of her using the word abandoning wasn't lost on me. Since moving out, my life has improved dramatically. I am sleeping better. I am not constantly anxious about when the next cancellation will come, and I am actually excited about spending time with someone again. Rachel and I have been on several real dates. Dates where she shows up on time, puts her phone away, and acts like she wants to be there. She remembers things I tell her about work and asks how projects are going. She makes plans with me and keeps them. Last week, her friend invited her to a last-minute concert on the same night we had dinner plans. Rachel's response: "Thanks, but I already have plans I am excited about." I almost cried hearing someone prioritize me over a better offer. The contrast is staggering. With Qley, I spent 2 years grateful for any attention I could get. With Rachel, I am learning what it feels like to be someone's choice, not their consolation prize. Qley's been reaching out through mutual friends, asking about me and trying to understand what went wrong. Mackenzie apparently told her she has been too dependent on her friends and needs to invest more in romantic relationships. Too little, too late. Last week, Qley texted me directly, I have been thinking about us and I realize I may have taken you for granted. I would like to talk about working things out. I showed the text to Rachel, who said, "It is interesting how she realized your value right after you stopped giving it to her for free." That is exactly it. Qley didn't miss me. She missed having someone who would always be available. Always understanding, always willing to be last on her priority list. I texted back, "I am not available to discuss this. I am busy building a relationship with someone who makes me a priority." She didn't respond. Edit. For everyone asking about Rachel, we are taking things slow, but it is going incredibly well. She is meeting my family next week, and I am genuinely excited about it instead of anxious about how she will behave. Edit 2. Nathan said something that really stuck with me. "You spent 2 years teaching Qley that treating you poorly had no consequences. Rachel is learning that treating you well gets rewarded. The difference in my own behavior between the two relationships is night and day.